Hello everyone, this is a quick demonstration on how to use Adobe Firefly. Adobe Firefly is a generative art tool. It's not the most fully featured generative art tool. For some concepts you'll get better results using tools such as Midjourney or ChatGPT, which uses DALL-E 3. But Firefly is one of the most user-friendly tools, and it can give you really quick results, and it's a very easy way to learn some of the basics of generative art principles. You can register for a free Firefly account on the web page here. You just sign in using your Google, Facebook or Apple account, or you can create an account using an email address. Once you've created your account, you'll be on this page here, and you can see already that we've got an example which has been illustrated here with a prompt. It shows you that this prompt here would create this image that's in the background. And if we scroll further down, you can see other images as examples in the Get Inspired by community. And if you hover over these, it will give you the prompts that created these, which is a very helpful way to understand how certain images and certain looks, certain approaches, certain creative designs can be generated. There's also some tutorials and resources there that will help you. But we're going to dive right into Adobe Firefly so that I can show you how the different controls work. So for our prompt, we're going to put in first century Palestine, warm and friendly Middle Eastern man in his 30s, wearing a dirty white robe, talking to a group of children and families. So this is without any parameters set at all. This is just the prompt. So we'll click generate, and then you'll see that immediately we get through to this interface where we've got a bunch of tools and controls down the left hand side here, and it gives us a selection of 4 images, and we've got our prompt down here, and you can see that you can let me just show you this. You can see that you can change the display here, so you can view them a little bigger and just scroll through them horizontally like this. So this is without any parameters set at all. So we'll take a look. Let's go back to this interface. Actually, you can choose your aspect ratio. So obviously these are currently set to 1:1, so they're square. But you can set them to landscape, to portrait, or to widescreen. Let's set them to widescreen. And let's say, and you can see here that the auto is set for what type of content, and you can choose photo or art here. So depending on your prompt, if you've got auto selected, it will work out whether it thinks you're most likely to want a photo or something that is more akin to artwork. So whether it's photorealistic like these ones are here, or whether it's something that's more like a painting or a drawing or a sketch, and so on. So let's select art here, and you can see here that it's added in art down to our prompt here, and we know that we've selected aspect ratio of widescreen. So let's just click generate again, and you'll see now that it's generating another 4 images, and this time it's made it less photorealistic, so this looks more like a painting. It's altered the layout format to be widescreen rather than square, and we can see that we've got these we've got this line here, so we can actually go back to our previous prompt at any point, and you'll see as we add more and more variations in, you can always cycle back to ones that you've had before. You'll also see that you can hover over any of these images, and you can choose to either download it or to upscale it if you've got enough credits, or you can edit it. And if you click on here, you can see that you can then move this image into Adobe Express, which is like a very user-friendly form of Photoshop, and you can add text over the top. You can add shapes and graphics. You can create a social post such as an Instagram post or a Facebook post from it. or back in Firefly, you can say that you want to, that out of the 4 that are on the screen here, that you want to generate similar ones to this one. So this is going to be your reference point. Or you can say that you want to do a generative fill. We might look at that in another video, but that's essentially where you can choose a portion of that image and you can choose to fill it with something else. So maybe a crowd of people in the distance, or a dove flying in the air, or a mountain in the background, or a sunset. There's all sorts of things that you can do with that. There are also these options here: users composition reference and users style reference. Now, these refer to the tools that we've got over here, and we've got various presets that we can use here. So composition reference is a feature in Firefly that allows users to influence the structural arrangement and the layout of the generated artwork. So it provides a guiding framework for the composition of the image, ensuring that the specific elements are placed proportioned according to where you want them. So it's particularly useful if you're creating artwork that requires a specific visual balance, or trying to adhere to some specific design guidelines. So for example, if you wanted to, let's have a look at the gallery here. Let's say that we wanted it to look like this scene here. So we're going to use this as a reference image. Let's see what that does to the generated outputs. So you can see the only difference here is that we've got this composition reference in. So you can see here that it's applied the basic structure of that composition reference to the image. So you've got the angle of the mountains in the backgrounds looking similar, and so on. Let's say we want it looking like this one. Let's try generating that one. So this image looks like this. Okay, so we've got similar kind of curves going on there. Let's try something completely different and see what happens. Let's say that we want this to look a little bit like a line drawing, like this one here that we've got with the swan. Let's generate that. Okay, so that hasn't worked quite as well, and you'll find that a lot of these are trial and error as to what works. Let's give one more a go here. Okay, so here you can see some of these buildings coming into the background. So that might be the kind of thing that you're after. You can also choose to use an existing image as your composition reference, or you can upload your own image. So for example, if you want to generate an image of a shepherd, 2 sheep and a moon set on a hillside, you could do a very rough pencil sketch. You could scan that into your computer, you could upload it, and when you tell Firefly to generate an image of a shepherd with 2 sheep and a moon, and to use your sketch as the reference image, it will put the sheep and the shepherd and the moon in the same place that you have done on your sketch. So let's remove these and let's just go back to here. So we've done aspect ratio, we've done content type, we've done composition. So if you wanted to upload it, you just upload it using that button there, or you can browse the gallery here. These images here will be the ones that you've used most recently. If you click on Browse Gallery, you can see they've got them categorized into abstract, photography, line drawing, and so on. Okay, so that's composition reference. You've also got style reference. Now, this could well be one that you end up using more frequently, and that enables you to define the aesthetic quality of your art. So it lets you use existing artwork or an image to influence the style, and that can incorporate elements such as texture, color palette, brushstrokes, overall artistic approach, and so on. So let's say we want this image to be maybe a little more cartoon-like. So let's select this image as our style reference. We click Generate. and you can see immediately it's put it into a similar color palette with a similar artistic approach to what we're using as our style reference. Let's try another one. Note that you can only use one of these at a time, otherwise things would get quite confusing. So let's try this one. I just hover over that. You'll see that's kind of quite a dramatic, quite a neon landscape type approach. And let's generate a new set there. Okay, so again, you can see it's taken that color palette, it's taken that kind of dramatic look in the clouds and so on. Let's try this one here, which is more of a black and white kind of drawing type approach. Okay, so that's given us another very different look on this scene. So we're still working with exactly the same prompt, but we're just adding different parameters in from this menu on the left-hand side. So all sorts of things that you can do here, and again you can upload your own image. So if you've got a photograph that you've taken that you want your generative art to be in the style of, then you can upload that and choose that to be the reference point. You've got these images here, which are the ones you've most recently used, and then again you can browse gallery and you'll see you've got a lot of options here, again split into categories with popular, acrylic and oil, watercolor, pencil, architectural sketch, 3D, digital illustration, and so on. So all sorts of options. Maybe let's try dramatic lighting. Let's try this one and see what happens. Okay, so something went wrong. Let's just retry. There we go. All right, so that's obviously another very different approach again. Okay, so let's scroll further down. It's worth noting actually that you can choose how much you want your style reference to influence the image. So here the default is about 50% on both intensity and strength, but you can change those to increase it more. So if you're thinking, actually I kind of like that approach, but I don't want it to be quite so intense as that, you can move it down to that's only got settings of 0, 50 or 100, I think. But let's say we want visual intensity to be about there. Let's generate that again, and it should be a slightly less intense version. Can we see any difference between those? I'm not sure I can see that much difference there, but you could play around with those parameters and see what you think. Okay, scrolling down, we've also got this area called effects, and you can either see all of them just by clicking the button that says all, and it will group them into the different categories. So these are art movements, whether it's Art Deco, Art Nouveau, Cubism, Cyberpunk, Film Noir, whatever you want there. As we scroll further down, you've got themes, so whether you want it to be like a cartoon or a comic book, or geometric or like graffiti, or techniques such as acrylic paint or ink or a line drawing. Effects, we've got things like fisheye, misty, grainy film, and materials. You can choose whether it looks like it's been done with charcoal or on marble, layered paper, whether it's paper mache. So you can see there's some really interesting parameters that we can add in here. So what we'll try is maybe something that's more like a cartoon or a sketch. So let's just scroll up and see what we've got. Let's try pop art. Let's see how that works. So we'll remove this style reference and we'll say we want this to be pop art. And we'll add in a few other sections such as cartoon and comic book. Let's try that and let's generate that again. Okay, you can see this is now giving us a radically different look, which is definitely more cartoon, more comic book like, and has even got that thatched background that you often see in pop art. So as we scroll further down, you can also see that we've got color and tone. So you can choose whether what quality of light you've got, whether it's black and white, whether it's a cool tone such as you might get in the middle of night or in the evening, whether it's golden, so that would be like first thing in the morning, or at kind of sunset time, monochromatic, muted color, and so on. So let's try some of these. So let's remove art, pop art, cartoon, and comic book. Let's scroll back up to the top and say we want this to be a photo. And then let's scroll down here and say we want this to be a golden hour. And we want the lighting to be, let's say, golden hour again there. So the color is golden, the lighting is golden hour. And let's say we want the framing of the shot, the camera angle, to be, let's say, wide angle. All right, let's regenerate this. Okay, there we go. So we've got quite a wide angle shot. It's still exactly the same prompt, but this has got much more of a kind of a sunset quality to it. It's wide angle. If we were to change wide angle to close up, and let's say we were to say it's going to be dramatic light and vibrant colors. And you can see there again, so now we've got a different look again, which is much more close up. The lighting is a little more dramatic, a little more vibrant. So you can see you've got a huge amount of different parameters that you can play with here according to what type of output you want. And at any point you can go back through these and choose a selection to either download all of them or to use one of them as a style reference or a composition reference, or you can choose to upscale one. You can give feedback on how well you think Firefly has interpreted your prompt and your parameters, which will help it to improve in the future. And I think that covers that for this session.